This is section 3.6. It's on proving theorems about perpendicular lines. So we need to know what perpendicular lines are first. Pretty sure we've talked about this before, but lines that intersect at an angle of 90 degrees are perpendicular lines. In the figure below, line AB and line CD are perpendicular. So these two lines intersect, and they intersect at a certain angle. That angle is 90 degrees. Now, there's a symbol for this. It's an upside down T. So when you see two lines with that upside down T in between them, that means the two lines are perpendicular. Now that we know that, we can look at some theorems that use that term perpendicular. Here's your first one. It's theorem 3.8. If two lines intersect to form a linear pair of congruent angles, then the lines are perpendicular. Think about this for a second. If angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, can you prove that line G is perpendicular to line H? Okay, so these are a linear pair. That means they add up to 180. And you also know that they're congruent. So what would the measure of these angles be if they're the same and if they add up to 180? Each one's going to be 90 degrees. And if they're each 90 degrees, that's going to make the lines perpendicular. So you believe it's true. Do you think you can prove it for all cases? Well, that's what we're going to do on this slide. So you're given that angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. You're also given that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. Okay, so your first step is usually to write the given. I'm going to write one part of the given here, just to show you a different style. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. That's given. Now, what does that mean if two angles are congruent? It means their measures are equal. That's the definition of congruence. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say that angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair. And I'm going to abbreviate linear pair. I know they're a linear pair because they told me. It's given. Now, if you think back to last chapter, when you have two angles that make a linear pair, what are you allowed to say? Well, you're allowed to say that their measures add together to give you 180. That's your linear pair postulate. So notice what I did. I separated my given so I could focus on what each piece meant. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take what I learned from step 2 and what I know from step 4 and kind of combine them. If angle 2 is the same as angle 1, then I can take angle 2 out. And I can replace it with the measure of angle 1 because they're the same. Remember, that's called substitution. Now, if you have angle 1 plus angle 1's measure, that's the same thing as 2 times the measure of angle 1. So whatever angle 1 is, multiplied by 2, that's going to give you 180. All I did there was simplify. I'm getting kind of tight for space here. I don't want to accidentally hit the wrong thing here. So I'm going to move over here. Step 7 then is going to be the measure of angle 1 is 90. What I did there was I divided both sides by 2. That's your division property of equality. Now, if angle 1 is 90, what can you say about the two lines? You can say the two lines are perpendicular. So line G and line H are, that's definition of perpendicular. So we just proved this theorem using all of these things that we already know. So the next time you see two congruent angles that also make a linear pair, you know that those two lines are perpendicular.